And thank you for joining us this beautiful, lovely evening on When Can We Play Blades in the Dark? When finally, after a far too long hiatus, we can play Blades in the Dark. A dystopian, steampunk, etherpunk, dieselpunk, Victorian-era-esque themed adventure in which we are going to be following three miserable people playing even more miserable characters. Starting, of course, with my longtime friend and our producer, I almost called you by character name, Paige McCay, playing Fanny Barnum. What's your last name?
Keel.
I was going to say Cutter. Fanny Barnum Keel, the Cutter. A demented acrobat who had her entire life torn away when her circus was burned down with most of her family inside. She tracked down, eventually, the group of men that did it, specifically the ringleader, one named Hutch, who promptly, off-screen, away from her, someone else got the vengeance for her. He died a miserable, anticlimactic death, which very much irritated and irked the leader of the Grey Cloaks, Ness, who was romantically involved with him. How are you doing, Paige? Sorry, Fanny.
Great, I'm always happy to share revenge and arm stealing with my comrades. Happy to be here with you guys.
Arm stealing.
Yeah, I think I have an arm that can hang above my head. We're putting it in a shadow box, I think was where we ended it.
And next up, also a personal friend of... That's such a stupid... No, you're all my friends. I'm terrible at this. Jacob Skinner, who will be playing the role of Everett Vega Valentine.
Nice. Not Vincent.
The Lurk, who is a once noble who had everything taken from him when he left the Dagger Isles with his father, who had embarked on some sort of business deal that went terribly, ended in his death. Taking away all of Vega's titles, he found out later that they were lost to one Lord Skurlock. And he's been trying to investigate that. Not too much fruition, just edgy, ghostly whispers from probably this lord, warning him to back off and stay away. He's already lost one ally who the reasons were never quite specified, but she came to him while he was a blithering drunk, as he is a raging alcoholic, and told him she just can't help him anymore. How are you doing, Jacob? How are you doing, Everett?
Currently not drunk, which is always a tragedy. Otherwise, miserable.
That is exactly what I would expect and hope. And finally, but not at all leastly, probably my favorite person. I don't know. I don't like to play favorites, but he's my favorite. We have one Victor Rivera playing Robert Thingama, the demented engineer and inventor who also had everything taken from him, very much the same as our previous introductees. He was once a brilliant scientist who unfortunately started delving a little too deep into secrets that were not his to know. He has gone through a long journey trying to get back at the Leviathan Hunters, specifically one Lady Clov, the woman who tricked him and had him doing a lot of jobs for them in exchange for this alternate fuel to Leviathan blood, the stuff that powers the gates around this city. She instead injected him with some of this substance, and he has gone literally criminally insane at this point. He managed to find some bargaining chip in the form of Lady Ankiat, a turncoat Leviathan hunter, who they once upon a time helped to rescue, but Thingama needed his fix. He tried to take her, use her as a bargaining chip with Lady Clov. It went terribly. Lady Ankiat escaped. However, at the end, we did find Lady Clov at Thingama's mercy, him ultimately the victor. A wink. How are you doing, Victor / Thingama?
This is not a drill. We're screwed. And this is a drill, so...
Now we are back with our three scoundrels who at this point have embraced what they truly are, what they know they are, and have taken on this moniker as their crew name, finally. This is the story of the loose ends. Now, if somebody would love to introduce episode 9 of our campaign and give us a title, who wants to do it?
Barnum. Do it.
Oh, damn it. I was going to vote Victor.
I voted Victor too, but I'll do it. Episode 9 of Blades in the Dark is Visions.
And then roll intro! So, last we left off, and of course, Blades in the Dark doesn't necessarily have to be chronological, but it did end, I believe, with Lady Claw trying to wheedle her way out of Thingama. But thankfully, we can finish what happened in that scene via flashback if we want. In the meantime, let's go ahead and do your downtime actions for our crew, because you definitely need it. I know you guys have racked up some insane amounts of... All of you are almost completely capped out at stress. Which, for our audience, if they cap out on stress, they go comatose and take a trauma. So, Vega, you said you had some idea what you wanted to do first?
Oh, yeah. I think, as always, we're just in Thingama's workshop, kind of gathering ourselves and kind of figuring out what was going on with each other. And as I'm doing this, I take a giant swig of my bottle in hand. So, what the hell do we have going on now?
Thingama takes a giant swig out of an oil can that he has on a workshop desk, and it's filled with drugs. Just liquid drugs. I don't know.
Liquid drugs.
So I will indulge vice as one of my downtime actions also. And I'll go, I don't know.
Well, go ahead and roll to indulge vice to see how much stress you remove. I don't think you have to worry about overindulging with how much you guys have right now.
It would seem as though I have underindulged.
Yeah, you found that you go to drink some of your beer and Thingama just had poured most of it in his barrel of drugs. Alcohol's a drug, right?
Okay.
I love.
So you got like a couple sips of your beer. Does that sound cool? That sounds cool.
Vega looks at Thingama and was like, "Did you water this down, you little bastard?"
This isn't drugs. This is beer. And then I just, because I rolled a 1 out of 8 stress, so I feel unbiggled.
Wow, that's a tough start already.
I want to say that I'm actually not there because I am indulging my vice at the lightning gate, or I was doing that before. Maybe I'm on my way back right now.
Okay. That's perfectly fair. Yeah, you indulge your vice of Benjamin Franklin style flying a kite into the electrified fence. Unfortunately, there's just no wind in Duskfall today. You half-ass throw the kite at the fence. It's just not the same.
Yeah, I'm just upset. I'm just like trying to touch it,
Just
doesn't
not
work.
doing it. Wow, you guys are very much shook from this last encounter, it seems, because you are not even de-stressing that well. Now remember, you can pay 1 rep or a coin to get an extra downtime action if 2 is not sufficient.
Well, I only have 1 coin to my name at the moment, so.
That is too relatable.
So, have we discussed any of what has happened already?
Meta, we have not.
Meta, okay. In character, have we?
No, in character we have not.
Yeah, you guys are kind of at a really nice, crispy, clean slate kind of start right now, because the most pressing thing you had before was the looming threat of the Grey Cloaks taking over your territory. They were trying to encroach on Six Towers, the dilapidated old district that once upon a time was beautiful and lovely, and now these old manors and mansions are all decrepit. Thingama's workshop is, of course, underneath. But after literally teaming up with the Grinders and the Lost, two other gangs, and borrowing some of their men in exchange for favors you still owe, you all managed to completely pretty much decimate the last of the Grey Cloaks, save for Ness, the leader, and possibly whatever stragglers may have fallen behind. But you guys are free and clear for the most part, unless Lady Yonkyot comes for vengeance or something.
Didn't we get one or two more at that last when I was locked up? Didn't we grab one or two more Grey Cloaks then?
I don't recall that.
Yeah, when I was
right, because the Grey Cloaks were literally holding you prisoner. Right, that is correct. And I also believe it was one of those situations of you guys saying, "How many are there?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know, 8." And then you guys actually counted over the sessions how many Grey Cloaks you killed. So
we're ambitious. Alright, well, I'm gonna indulge my vice again for my second one, if we can do that real quick.
Yes, please go ahead.
That did not do it.
Hey,
There we go.
What'd you get?
I got a 6 and a 3, but mine says the lowest result above, so I guess I got a 3.
That's unfortunate.
Okay.
That's okay.
A 6 would have almost overindulged me, so...
All right, so as I said, clean slate. You guys pretty much have free reign to play anything in the game now. Like play the game. I don't know. What are you feeling inclined towards? The world is your dark, clammy clam.
Well, I think are we all sitting in the? Has Barnum joined us in the workshop yet?
Yeah. Do you guys need to do any more downtimes before we get started?
Yeah, I'm gonna indulge vice again. Oh, here are my drugs. So that is a 1. Oh my goodness.
That's not your drugs. That's an old Trisket. That
I'm gonna spend a coin to indulge again because I cannot have this. 6. There we go.
There you go.
We have 2 downtimes we can use?
Yes.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I'll do it again. So I start rummaging through. I'm rummaging through everything, trying to find the bottle that I know Thingama hid somewhere. I just know he did.
Oh,
there it is.
You found one of them.
All right, 4. So go ahead and clear your 4 stress.
You little
Barnum comes back and she sees 2 grown men scrounging and scrambling around the floor and then finding stuff and just either chugging it or eating it.
I probably step in it. You are pathetic.
Yeah, Vega.
Listen. For me to talk about what I need to talk about, I'm gonna need to be drunk.
I just pat some smoldering smoke off my arm. All right, well then share.
I'm having visions of weird shit that I can't really explain. I've seen both what I think is my father and Skurlock, and I can't tell which is real and which isn't.
I have visions all the time, but they're mostly the mushroom.
I don't even know what to say to that, to be honest.
I had a vision. Are you sure it was your father?
I'd like to think that I can remember what my father looks like, despite the fact that I haven't seen him in years.
When was the last time you looked in a mirror?
If this is a joke about getting old, it's not funny.
No.
A little bit.
Don't worry, everyone. For context, it's not funny. Jake's losing his hair. That's...
Getting off my
That was so awful.
No, it adds character.
I am.
Vega's losing his hair. Got it. Okay.
Play out the trauma through roleplay, you know?
I start chasing Thingama around. Oh, you little shit!
And I just grab Thingama and put him on the other side of a table so you can't get to him. But hold on there. Grabs you by the arm. Have you looked in the mirror recently?
Where are you going with it?
When was the last time you saw your father?
What?
It was you, Vega. Are you sure it wasn't you?
Why would it be me?
Because I saw me. Or
Excuse me?
I saw like 17-year-old me, but like 17-year-old me if I had like a different life, like if I hadn't been so sparky.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
What was that thing about?
Well, I wasn't gonna say anything.
You want me to put you on the other side of the table again?
I would love that.
Puts him back
Come
down.
here, friend.
No. But listen, it was me. It was me, but she said she was from a different time, space-scape head thing, and that she had found out how to communicate, and that her name was Alkira, and I don't know anyone that looks that much like me. I had a sister, but I'm pretty sure she's dead, and I don't think she would look this much like me anyway. This was me. Less scars, less... She's a little bit of a... You know what I mean? But like...
Okay, so you're having visions of yourself.
Only one.
I had a vision of my father. And Skurlock, I guess, came to me, is what it seems at the moment. And threatened me. Very, very clearly threatened me. Also, I don't know if I told you about this. Sorry, out of character.
Out of character. He doesn't know if he told you this.
Okay, back in character. I believe he cost me Rosalind. I think he's part of, at least, the reason that Rosalind won't speak to me anymore.
So we have lost Rosalind now.
It seems so. Yeah, I can't get anything from her. She left me drunk in the street.
Well, she left you. You were probably just already there, but maybe you should let me try and talk to her. Maybe she's just a little tired of you.
Ah, wow. Picking up on sloppy seconds, are we?
I mean, hey, your loss is my gain.
Great. Well, I guess what do we do here? Are we broke? What kind of money do we have?
We have 4 coin as the crew, and I have 2 coin as myself.
And we have a lot of rep, which know how to level up. So
To increase in tier, you need... Oh, wait, hold on. You don't have...
we have a we're tapping up in rep. And
Hold on. You don't have any turf yet, though.
I think that's...
How much rep did you have? Because it looks like... Oh, I believe you filled it. Okay. So if your rep is full, in order to increase tier, you have to pay 8 coin times the new tier you're reaching.
which is why we never do that.
That's so many coin.
That feels
Another
like
coin.
an enormous amount of coin. Okay.
Yeah. Gonna have to do some criminal activities for that kind of coin.
So she told me, but this might be of interest. Okay, so we lost Rosalind. I would never go after your girl, Vega. Sounds like you should try to make up with her, but like, okay.
I've tried. I'll keep trying.
So we lost Rosalind, which is a big problem. But my vision, she told me to go to the Dagger Isles, and I had this vision after Ness knocked me out, took everything, just completely with my mind, just all of that, and then put me in jail for a little while. So like, I didn't know if this was real. or if I was just dreaming.
Aren't you already from the Dagger Isles? Would that be home for you?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm from
I am.
Scotland.
Oh.
I wanted to let Vega know because he's from the Dagger Isles.
I knew one of you, but I've only lived here ever. I've never, traveled.
So your dream 17-year-old self told you to go to the Dagger Isles.
Yes. She didn't tell me why, she just told me. She couldn't tell me. I don't understand it either, but you saw someone that I think was you and not your father. What did your father say to you?
Out of character. The hell did he say to me? I forgot.
I don't remember either. I haven't watched that one in so long.
I don't know that they. I could be wrong. I don't know. I think they were speaking in a language you couldn't understand when that
That's
happened
right.
to you.
They didn't say anything. They didn't say anything of importance. It's just like he showed up and it was.
Oh, he spoke to you. I Google translated that shit. He spoke to you.
Yeah, he said something to the effect of, "If the waffle goes to town," and
That's it. That was it. Shoot, I didn't do a good job translating that.
If Vega, if you can find any memory of what he said, maybe our friend Thingama here would have some resources for us to go translate it at the library.
I would just love to go back to my trauma.
Oh, okay, well then do it.
Let's go do it that then.
Oh, wow. I was kidding, but you guys want to. Okay, sure.
Well,
Why not?
I'm wondering. Go ahead. Sorry, Thingama.
I think it's a good idea because we are desired, as in we have a very high wanted level. So us getting out of Dodge for a little bit, letting, some of the piratical heat die off is not the worst idea in the world. I often follow visions and drug-induced stupors and the omens, so this all sounds above board to me.
So I want to say I was probably laid out on the table watching Thingama say this, and I just stopped for a second and put my hands on my stomach and look up at the ceiling. Thingama, speaking of your drugs, do you think there's something you could concoct to bring us back to that realm where we saw our visions? Do you think you could get us back in that state?
I have done a lot of drugs, and I know a lot of things. So I could, gather information from my mind vault of the libraries when I was allowed there.
So maybe your mind palace.
Yeah, remember what I studied.
I think he is trying to do a flashback here.
I cannot afford a flashback, good sir. But
That's fine. You can roll a study, my friend. If you can tell me where you still have access to those libraries. You've spoken to the, I believe the headmaster at Charter Hall. Man, it's all a blur these days. But yes, if you can tell me where you're studying, you could roll a gather information for study.
Yes. Thingama has a background in academia, where he was a librarian in Charter Hall, as Robert called. Cognizant. And so he did it there.
All right, go ahead and give me that study.
So I click study or roll fortune?
Or roll 14, yes.
And then that is 1 die, because I have a 1 die in study.
Nice.
This is gonna go well. Drugs, question mark? That's a bad note for it, but 5, okay.
5, not bad. All right, so we'll give you some kind of useful, somewhat pertinent information. So specifically, tell me, what is the thing you were studying for in a sentence?
Portals to different realities, or stuff like that, and if it's a induced drug thing for when you're on a walkabout or whatever, and then you're in the tent and then they have the steam and stuff.
Yeah. Out of character, can I suggest liminal spaces?
Sure, aluminum
Just-
space.
Aluminum spaces?
Liminal spaces. Liminal spaces.
I was thinking of what I could possibly improv, and then you throw that 90s band name at me, and I'm like...
That's one of the most innocent things I've ever heard. Aluminum spaces?
Aluminum spaces. I am familiar with metals.
I will say it is known that there are, in theory, rifts. Now, in terms of literal otherworldliness, there are rifts that appear within Duskfall at times. They're sporadic and unpredictable, and nobody knows their true purpose. Let me see.
That might be one of them.
There's something about them in the book with the actual lore, but yeah, that's a thing you know.
So, if I do drugs, I might be able to find one. That is not, how it works, but that's...
Well, you're also the writer in this tale, so if that's how you try to do it.
I can do, the drugs will just be, like a free action, just me going town. So.
Oh, of course.
Did you want me to make some for you? Was that the question? Sure.
Yeah.
And of course, there are the infamous Gates of Death, which the Emperor of Akaros, of Duskfall and the continents it's on, famously, he wedged it open with a dagger, and that's what caused the apocalypse. It's what caused death or for the afterlife to stop being accessible. That caused all these demons and ghosts and monsters to swarm the planet. So that's a threshold.
I have knives, so do you want knives to stab the dagger?
But famously, also, that is the most unapproachable location in the world. I'm just throwing out stuff. I'm just reading things and throwing out stuff.
Okay,
I wasn't
so I
prepared for otherworldly rifts. This is great. Give me
I
more.
think at this point, probably, Thingama, you tell me, you've probably come back and told us what you found on your research.
Uh-huh. I can't believe they left me back there. I did not tidy up my space, and I was not quiet. That I believe is reckless, so for XP, but we'll figure that out later.
Okay. Well, do you think you could make a potion? Or like a tinkering of sorts to get us...
Two completely different things.
I will say also, let me see. I'll throw you a bone here and say that the essence you've been studying, this alternate fuel source, what little bits you've been able to get, they have some sort of, I don't want to give away some sort of resonance with otherworldliness, just like electroplasm does. The electroplasmic energy that's used all throughout Duskfall is basically on the cusp of life and death. It's in the place where ghosts exist. Electroplasmic energy is the result of those forces resisting and the energy that comes out of it. This essence is something different entirely. It's based on something else, something purely otherworldly. But to what aspect that is, or what aspects of getting to those other worlds or anything like that, you of course have no idea.
So the alternative fuel methods the Leviathans have been doing, or the Sparkrites have been doing, has something to do with this, is what you're throwing us?
No, I am literally making up more leads. This is all improv, baby.
I love it. All right, well then I will improv back at you. I'll throw you a new one.
Please.
I'll say, you know who may have some opinions on this? Samuel. And then I go over to Samuel's cot where we've been treating him off of a little room that Thingama has made for him. And I pull down a little thing that makes his bed go, please sleep.
No. Sorry, I drank all the oil.
And I just, Samuel, I have a question.
Samuel, of course, is unable to roll over, really turn without extreme, excruciating pain. And for the audience who doesn't know, Samuel was an engineer in training in the Spark Rights that ended up getting blasted in the stomach as the result of a desperate roll from one of our players. Samuel looks over to you. He just smiles and says, "Hi."
Hi, buddy. Thingama.
Thingama is as far away from Samuel's cot as can be.
Okay, I'll take this one. So, Samuel, because I still don't understand why you don't want to be near Samuel out of character. As Barnum. Samuel, we were thinking, would you know anything about other realms?
Where am I? When did you drag him like inside immediately after the encounter?
Yeah, and I like to think Thingama like a little bit, you know?
I absolutely did, but I have not spoken a word to him since.
Okay. So
I've taken care of him because I feel very guilty and want to make sure he's okay.
He looks at you and says, "What do you mean? No, there's no afterlife."
No, not an afterlife, like an existence next to us, like us, but here, like us in another world. Like, what if there was a world full of like big black creatures that were like from another planet and they could like eat you, and we were all like scientists, and I was there, but my name was Ruth.
He looks at you, very intrigued by this. He winces a little in pain every breath he takes, placing his hand on his bandaged gut, and he says, "Maybe there's theories about that's where the Leviathans come from or something, right? That's I don't know about alternate dimensions or stuff. We've thought about it, but I'm just, that's not my kind of school of thought, really. I didn't learn as much about it as the others do. I just know that all of the energy we use comes from another plane. It could be full of other things.
What about like these rifts?
We don't really know what those are. We just know sometimes ghosts are attracted to them.
So is there any way to get to them? Would we need to be a ghost to get to them?
No, they appear randomly. The spirit wardens have means of finding them and closing them.
Samuel, thank you. I spent her on Thingama, your friend.
Thingama?
No, Samuel.
I'm only looking at Barnum's feet right now. You mean Eckhart?
Yes, Thingama up here. Do you need more drugs?
Looking past her, you can see Samuel looking straight at you, and he doesn't look angry or anything. He looks confused, like he's trying to remember something.
What about Eckhart?
He knows about death warden spirits. He likes all of that. Maybe he knows where to get to a rift.
He deals more in the aftermaths of that. He doesn't know any spectral substances or sessions.
Would he know how to get to just a rift, though?
I could ask.
And what about our friend Frankenstein? What's his name?
Bernard, I think.
What about Bernard?
He did have a ghost army.
He has a small ghost army, and they may have come from a rift. Or maybe that's why they're attracted to the castle. Because of a rift. No, that can't be. No, but maybe. I'm just arguing with myself in my head and like walking around and away from Samuel now and just pacing through and like jumping on tables while I talk to myself about.
This all is just to see if we can have another interaction with these, for lack of a better word, visions that we've had, yeah?
But she was so real. She had my face.
Okay. Well, it seems we have a couple of options. We could spend as much time as we need to / want to figure out exactly how we can go about doing these things. Or we can follow something grounded in the real world, and unfortunately for me, in seemingly my past, and see if we can find something that way.
Thingama wanders over to the like kitchen table, and it's full of gross and like dried salty meats and bread that most of it's molded over, and he takes the nicest pieces of bread and like he gets the middle of the meat and he's making a sandwich, and he goes, "I vote for the Dagger Isles."
I do think it's also a time for vacation. But I would like to know that I could get back to this realm and get more instruction, or try to find this person that has my face. And Thingama seems like the tool for that.
Yes, I am a tool.
Thingama, you sound very reluctant to do anything.
No, let's go. Hubbledepup is ready. Let's go right now.
Point taken. I'm fine with going.
What do we do with the kid? Can't leave him.
I walk over and I put the nice sandwich that is on a plate on like next to Samuel within reach, and then I go, "I already told Eckhart and Bernard to take care of him, so let's go."
Should we go drop him off at Bernard's at least?
No, let's go right now.
Out of character, didn't y'all work together? You used to work at the you were a member of that group of scientists, weren't you?
I was almost, and then Thingama did some real reckless stuff, and
Some shit.
He made some very Blades in the Dark decisions.
he certainly did. Victor is
Okay.
not, but Thingama he did his own thing. So
Okay, well, I'm gonna, back in character, I grab my totem from Bernard that I still have. Oh, it's not near me. And I put it in my pocket, and I grab a few extra daggers and put them in my... All right, let's follow the man. The little man with the boat, Samuel. Bernard is... He's wonderful, and you're going to love him. But don't make him talk over 10 syllables.
I don't. Wait, where are you going? Wait, where am I? What's...
and then
I'm tired. And he just kind of lays his head back and stares at the ceiling for a moment, just kind of clutching his gut.
I'm over at the dock that we have, Hubbledepup, which is our banged up tugboat, and I go, "Come on, seaman!" And then I jump on.
Well, Vega, you better grab a few bottles for the ride.
Can't wait.
Now, if you guys are planning on sailing out of Duskfall, which is exciting, you do have things to contend with. You have to get past, of course, the electric gate. And if you're to get past one of the official gates, you would need some sort of documentation or someone to vouch, or a reason for the guard to let you through, or some way to bypass the gate itself.
I think I have that stuff too. If you have that stuff, Vega.
Well, I think I was like originally being a noble from the Dagger Isles. I figured I'd just have the documentation to get out to go to the Dagger Isles.
That is sick, Jake. That is wonderful. So, you guys go officially through the docks, and of course, Hubbledepup grabs more than a few glances out at the docks, just sputtering past the more elegant, finely crafted ships. However, you get to a point where the towers themselves, where the gates are a physical gate that opens, the one point in the docks that is. For the most part, the electric fence is just streams of electricity and wires running across. At this point, it's a gate that opens out to the dock. I forget what that's called in a harbor, but nonetheless, there's someone standing on a platform next to it, holds out his hand, says, "Papers?" It's a blue coat.
Pull the papers out of the jacket. Yeah.
He looks at them and says, "These are expired."
Is my name expired?
He says, "I'm sorry, you're going to have to take it by the Ministry of Preservation and acquire new papers. Unless you'd like to make a roll or some kind of flashback or some way to get around this guy."
I should have said this, but the line that I just pulled out was meant to be more of a sway,
Oh,
kind of to intimidate.
well, please, absolutely make a sway. I'll say it'll be risky standard. Or in the case of getting you through this situation, I mean risky great, essentially. It'll either work or won't work.
Cool.
All right. He looks you up and down. What's your name, Mr.
Valentine.
Not you. You. You're not on the paperwork. He's looking at Vega through his little porthole. And the captain's. We don't have a captain listed for this vessel. We need someone to hold accountable. You're clearly not driving it.
That's my little brother, Victor Valentine.
All right, I'll be keeping an eye on you. And take 1 heat. But nonetheless, he signals to someone and the gates open. And before you is just, for one thing, there's just a point of visibility where it stops. And it's just a foggy, impenetrable fog. Foggy fog. It's a foggy fog. It's the foggiest. So much fog, wispy and everything. All right. But what you can see is just the void sea, utterly pitch ink black. But as the boat sputters out, all the sounds of Duskfall, all the noise just goes further and further behind you. And for the first time in years, for some of you, possibly your life, it starts to become utterly quiet, except for, of course, the of Hoppledy-Pup, which seems kind of, you know, when it's perfectly silent in a parking lot at night and you're kind of scared to make noise for some reason. So if you sneeze or cough or something, you freak yourself out. That's the effect it has being out in this inky, lonely blackness. The few lights you can see of Duskfall don't take long to fade away and be hidden. Now you are in the void sea with the stars reflected both above and below you. It creates just, whenever you find pockets of fog dissipating, specifically when it becomes darker at night, that's all you see. You are in the vastness of space as far as you can see. You look down into the water, you don't see water. You just see the sky reflecting millions of stars. You can't tell where the horizon is. You almost lose your balance to a degree, not able to tell which way is up or down except for the boat, which is, of course, rocking in the waves. This place is the world that you inhabit, and it is enough to drive anyone insane. What's
So
the
I
story?
imagine, I know it's always night, but I imagine it's like the night getting close to what we would consider nighttime for ourselves, bedtime. And we're sitting down there. Vega probably is drinking a little bit, and we're all just sitting there. And I asked Thingama, have you got any more thoughts on how to get to one of these rifts? I know you've been contemplating it, because you always are.
I'm always thinking those thinkers. if this is just spitballing, and we could kill someone we don't care about, and then like harness energy, and maybe time it out where that energy might be, but that's not the same. That's I don't know, Barnum.
Well, my father managed to give me a little information on some things regarding the world outside of... I'm so sorry, I forgot the name of the place that we just left.
Duskfall.
Duskfall. And he handed me these runes that I've just carried. And let me know that there is a ritual that you can perform to, in a way, bridge a gap between our reality and the other. Since we're following visions that we don't know are from anywhere, I figured it would be beneficial for us to try and gather any information that we possibly can before we get there. So, on a whim, we can risk our lives here on this boat to see if this ritual works. I roughly know the language and some of the words that he gave me to perform it, but your guess is as good as mine as to whether or not this would work well.
I'll throw you some slack here, because for one, we need a justification how you got these runes. They didn't appear in your hand. Now, that could be handled via flashback, and frankly, since your heritage is the Dagger Isles, I think it very fair that you would be somewhat privy to such a thing. It'll cost you the 2 stress for the flashback.
I'll use it.
It sounds justifiable to me.
I guess, in my mind, I was using the flashback mechanic. I just didn't say it out loud.
In this game, say it out loud, because we need to... Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but then, he can hand you those runes and tells you that such a thing could be done. Boom, there we go. We got there.
Okay.
Have you ever used those before?
No. All I know is exactly what I've told you. We need to make it to that specific point in the Dagger Isles, and I can set them up and perform the ritual, but that's about as much as I can give you.
Is one small enough for a choking hazard? Because Thingama is looking at it.
Grabs out of the handle. What?
Remember, if you eat even one of these, we're fucked and we've ruined our reason for coming here.
We will be boned.
Can we... So we have to be on the Dagger Isles to do this.
Specifically on the Valentine's plot of land. Sorry, Lord Skurlock's plot of land in the Dagger Isles.
Bastard.
Didn't we murder him?
Skurlock?
No, we haven't murdered Skurlock. We murdered somebody else one time, and I get confused. We've murdered a lot of people. We've murdered a lot of people. A lot of big bads have come and gone. I don't know anymore.
So yeah, it seems like our idea to gather information before we got to the Dagger Isles became kaput, and now our mission is to gather information on the Dagger Isles.
Okay.
So we have to get, so I guess getting there.
Right, so, well, that we can jump ahead. We don't have to do the entire description of the getting there. We can just switch scenes. Fast-paced TV show. So, following
Leviathans. Wow.
Hey, you're lucky that I didn't make you roll information for gathering, like, astro navigation. Like, you guys don't know how to sail.
Oh yeah. Never been to swamp, probably.
Yeah, who even knows that this boat is sea, like, ocean worthy? All right.
This to me.
Breaking the game!
I know, right? I don't know what to do with. Okay, so, you guys let me first of all show you just how far the Dagger Isles are. You're traveling quite a distance. So hold on. So here's where is it? Here's Duskfall up here, and then all the way down here is the Dagger Isles.
Why did you let us do that?
Because I can't control you. I can't stop you from doing anything. I am at your mercy far more often than the other way around. I just try to play it off like I have more control than I do. That's pretty much the extent of that.
So you really are God. You've given us the gift of free will.
Or the illusion thereof.
Oh.
Forgive me. All right, so we can... So let me think. To get to your plot of land on the Dagger Isles, what would that take? It would take probably... I don't know that you can sail... No, we'll just theater the mind. There's nothing in the book for me here, so... okay. So you get to the Dagger Isles. What could we expect of the Dagger Isles? So, first off, I always saw them as one of those things that's owned by old families, old, rich, noble families who managed to keep their lands secure post-apocalypse, and they had the, let me see, a tropical archipelago covered in dense jungle growth, now turned dark and twisted from the strange magic of the cataclysm. Some say that the people here live without lightning barriers. How do they manage that? So, how do they manage that, Vega? This is your home turf.
It has to come from the runes and the magic.
All right. So let's see.
So I'm pretty savvy when it comes to protection against the ghouls and fiends and things.
All right.
Which is why I was willing to risk it all when we were fighting them in Bernard's house and put Thingama in a coma. I just knew it was going to be okay.
All right. So you going through this dense jungle turf, you take a long period of travel, and we could just jump scenes straight to coming up a long cobblestone path. And tell me, what does the Valentine Manor look like? Like what kind of...
For the Dagger Isles, it was ridiculous nice. I would have to assume that my father was really, really close with some of the nobles in Duskfall and other places for us to even have access.
He was a noble. You were a noble. You were one of those noble families.
Like close with some of the people in Duskfall to be able to have those connections to get in.
Understood, right.
So in terms of the Dagger Isles, it was basically the house, the cobblestone path, the giant gate with the wall that goes all the way around, the castle in the front. Very, very reminiscent of something out of Transylvania in the middle of this weird jungle.
Beautiful. And coming up to that gate, what is your plan in this manner?
Well, since Skurlock's taken everything over, I would have to assume he doesn't want me anywhere near this. So I think we're gonna have to, in some way, sneak our way in, fool our way in, preferably not cause chaos quite yet, because we gotta perform a damn ritual in here.
I have a plan.
Oh!
I have the subterfuge supplies, which is theatrical makeup kits, costumes, and all of that in my arsenal, if you will.
Oh, you should all have access to that, I believe.
Yeah. So we have that. I say that we dress the two of you up like performers who were sent from Duskfall to perform for Skurlock as a gift.
Huh.
Do other people know that he's dead? Because if they're like guards and stuff, then they might call us out on that.
Do other people know that what's dead? Skurlock?
Yeah. Isn't he dead? Weren't you saying that he's like dead?
Skurlock, as far okay, sorry, in character. From what I could tell, he was very, very much alive.
Oh.
I cannot explain to you how, but it seemed like he didn't have feet. He was floating and gliding everywhere he went, but he wasn't dead. I saw him as clear as I see you now.
So did he like send you a vision?
No. He showed up in the bar. Everything else disappeared around me.
Is Skurlock a wizard?
I asked the same thing.
It's a nickel con man. Not worth much of all. We can trick him. We should dress you up like... You would make a good clown.
Why is she pointing to me or you?
And then you keep out of character just pointing wildly at both of you. I don't know. Good costume though. We need to get a good costume on him. And I just go walking around looking. So yeah, that's my plan, is to put costumes on this. What do we think?
So, a deception?
Yeah, put her.
I'm debating. Like naturally, I just want to like use climbing gear to sneak up to the top.
Stealth?
Stealth.
But if
That's
he's-
always my first
If
option.
he's a magic man, then he'll know.
You think Skurlock's gonna know the moment we set foot on any of his territory? He didn't do anything when we were there in Bernard's place.
I think he'll know. It's
You
Bernard.
can do some gather information rolls to see
I would love to do a gather information. roll.
those kinds of details.
I was
Alright, so-
thinking about those. I'm like, let's just do it.
So, what is the first thing you'd like to gather information on?
Exactly where the plot is, I think, is where we gotta go. Because, obviously, right?
Okay. And how are you going to do that?
Stealthy stuff. It's my job. It's what I do. I just sneak around the wall, figuring stuff out, gathering information, climbing through the trees.
All right, go ahead and roll some. It sounds like a prowl to me. So you
Yeah,
can roll
prowl.
fortune with a prowl roll. Which I think through roll 20, you click roll fortune, and then you can put 3 dice because you have 3 dice for prowl.
A 5.
A 5. Beautiful. All right, so I'll say you can see that the walls absolutely do have runes etched just barely visible into the rock that will make scaling and climbing over the walls dangerous, exceptionally dangerous. You can't tell specifically what the runes do, but they do something dangerous for anyone who tries to climb. Let me see. And what was the other information we're looking for? We're looking for
Where the plot is specifically.
jumping through the trees around. You do see bodies coming in and out of the building through the back door, and you see they're going towards what looks like a tunnel that leads underneath the manor. Some of them are wearing holding prospecting tools, pickaxes, hard hats, the like. So you gather if there's something important currently being accessed, that might be it. As for the plot specifically, old daddy never told you specifically where, did he? Unless you wanted to spend another flashback.
Something important below the house, the basement. I mean, when is there not something interesting in the basement?
Do you remember if you were on, like, your plot was above, like, mineral deposits or a vein of gold, or?
This land is
My land.
above. This land is above one of the biggest deposits of runes that you can find.
Runes are a thing that are you carve them. They're not,
Yeah,
not like
the rocks, the ore.
you don't strike rune ore and it just starts. Oh, runes, we're rich.
No. The types of stones that they use to create the runes come from the Dagger Isles. How about that?
Yeah, sure.
That's the best I got.
They're magic stone.
Well, ask questions. Don't.
Okay.
I love the storytelling. It's like I don't want to encourage it, but the things you make up are great. But
Sorry.
no.
What- Okay. What do you think? I guess that's more of a world-setting thing.
What do I think about what? Oh, my camera just went full
Yeah.
blur.
Wait. Okay,
There we go.
My glasses.
What do I think about what precisely?
Thingama just asked Vega whether I remembered if this land was above something important. And I would have to assume that it is.
Magic rocks.
I like magic rock.
Well, it's not a democracy. It's gonna be whatever Edwin tells.
He is God.
I would say that you weren't aware of anything that important beneath your manor, actually.
Okay, that makes sense.
But you do sit on a plot of land with what is said to be the most magic rocks in all of the Dagger Isles. That's how your family made their fortune, was magic rocks.
Can we change visions to magic rocks? Can we instead?
It's like, oh, we got felsite, but it's magic felsite. We got gypsum. I'm just picking mineral names. I don't actually know any rocks. Those might have been rocks. I don't know the difference.
Don't add.
Don't add us better rock.
Gathering information. As far as I can tell, my best bet's going to be in the cellar. There's an entrance to the cellar in the back.
And that's where the
This
people
place is-
are coming.
They've got guys going in and out. Foot soldiers seemingly taking things in and out of that basement. And this place is protected, so there's no climbing up and over.
Well, if everyone's in the back, is the front less guarded?
There are not guards in the front, as far as you could tell. However, who knows what kind of stuff lies within.
Do you remember the combination lock?
If I need to remember a combination lock in a flashback later, then yes.
All right, should we go in the front?
We're just gonna march on in, eh?
That's it. No. You're just.
I'm
you're
okay
just-
with at least putting on the disguises.
We're just gonna
Give
listen.
us-
We're just full speed ahead over here. I
All
like
right.
it. I'm just asking.
Thingama's reckless now, so y'all need to catch up.
That's true. I forgot.
You know what? I say screw it. Let's commit to let's just commit to disguising ourselves as performers and going in through the front, because sneaking in seems so complicated and convoluted and hard to do that I'd spend all of my stress and get a trauma before we even got in.
All right.
Great.
So in
And
that
I
case,
reach into my bag and pull up 2 costumes.
what is the score here? What? Your plan is deception. It sounds like.
Our
Yeah.
plan is deception to get in to perform this ritual in the basement to gather the information that we need
Deception to a cult.
about deception to occult.
All right, deception to ghosts. All right. So let's go ahead and roll an engagement as you walk up to this door. So we're gonna take 1 die just for sheer luck. Let me see. Is this operation bold or daring? Hell yes, it is. I'm just gonna say yeah. So extra die for that. Complex or contingent on many factors? No, it's completely made up and not dependent on anything. You're just going dressed as clowns, so that's fine. What's the plan's detail, the method of deception? I'm not going to say they're exceptionally vulnerable to this plan. No. They do have special defenses or preparations, so that's minus another die. Any friends or contacts that can somehow provide aid or insight on this?
Your history in this place.
The entirety of my character is the contact to this place.
All right, I'll give you that one. You can have your extra die. However, you do have enemies or rivals interfering with this operation. And I feel like it should be very obvious who, or whom. I don't know grammar. Minus another die. Any other elements we can consider before I roll this 1d6?
Okay, so with us trying to go in as performers and clowns, and that being our method of deception, and my history and being a clown, I feel like we could get an extra die for that.
Not quite, because I've already said the plan of being clowns isn't really something they're vulnerable against. It doesn't really get you an extra edge. It's kind of insanity, but
None of us have any idea what's happening right now. We're just kind of risking everything to see what happens.
Yeah, we all might die on this one. I don't know.
you guys just walked so headstrong into this potential death. So here we go. All right, so you get to the door. We rolled a 4, which means risky starting position. So you get to the door and see a combination lock. No, I couldn't.
Oh no, it's my high school locker combination.
All right. However, you do go to reach for the door, and before you can grab it, it opens. Before you even can. And standing in front of you is a ghost. Or actually, you mistake it for a ghost. They're actually quite human, just extraordinarily pale and very old butler attire. They look at all of you. Vega, you recognize this as one of your family's butlers that were in the manor. He looks you right in the face, then at the other two. Can I help you?
I reach out my hand slowly, like poke him to see if he's a ghost.
Is there something I can provide you with, madam?
We were sent from Duskfall, from the lords and ladies of Charter Hall to be the new performers for Lord Skurlock, His Majesty, His greatness.
Lord Skurlock did not request performers to my knowledge.
No, we were sent as a gift.
Very well. Show me your performance.
As you wish. And then I move you both back, and I immediately pull out 2 balls and start juggling.
Oh, thank God you said balls and not knives. I was so nervous you were going to say knives.
I wouldn't hit you guys yet. So I start doing that, start throwing a little bit higher.
Oh, whoa, whoa.
And then I'll light a match, toss it in. One of them catches on fire.
As Barnum's doing this, he looks at Thingama, who's doing his little routine, and then at Vega. And his eyes linger expressionless on Vega. And he says, "Don't I know you, sir?"
Oh, but not done yet. And I face Thingama and I say, "Stay still." And then I start juggling one hand, throwing one against his head, and juggling that way.
All right, would you like to try a finesse roll here?
Yes, I would.
It'll be risky standard.
Okay. Bonus die, anybody?
That costs us stress.
Yes.
I'll do it. Just 1 stress, though, right?
Just 1.
Or is that 2?
Just 1 stress
Okay.
to help someone else.
Yeah. My finesse is pretty good, so I'm just kind of
head bouncing it back. Well, ow! Still kind of hurts, but wait, one of them's on fire.
That one I'm not throwing at your face. And I got a 1, a 4, and a 5.
All right, so taking the highest one, a 5, that means success with consequences. So the butler looks at you for a really long time and says, and suddenly his eyes widen in the first emotion he showed, and he says, and he suddenly leans forward, looking very closely at Vega, and says, Master Valentine, is that you?
That's all you get.
Very well. Do come in. And his face, looking at him, and by the way, he looks sickly compared to when you last saw him years ago. He looks pallid and just drained. But he looks at you all of a sudden with a permanent expression of fear and concern, like a parent who from a distance is watching their kid walk towards an outlet with a fork as he guides you in. And you've essentially overcome the first obstacle, which was the butler himself. Walking into the manor, it seems just as you remembered it, covered in dust, cobwebs, completely abandoned of all life, it seems. None of the servants or maids that once upon a time walked around here are there. It's completely empty. Your footsteps echo off the ground as you walk across the foyer. And the butler says, if you wait in this room, he will be with you shortly. And he bows.
Before you leave. Now, out of character. The look that you gave me makes me think that he, in some way, remembers me in a fond way. As in, is glad that I'm here.
More in a sense of he's afraid that you're here.
Could we ask him anything?
That's where I'm going with this, because I don't want to ask him anything if I was just picking up the wrong cue. Because if he's remembering me fondly, then I'll ask him. But if not, then
he was. I'll say he was always very loyal. Very. I don't know. Was your father a bastard? Like, was he an asshole? Like, how'd he treat?
To my childly knowledge, no, he was not. It seemed like he was involved in some sketchy shit I didn't know of. But while he was here, he was here. He was present. He was good.
Well, we could say he's fine with you. He has no beef with you. He cared for the family, for a very this guy's good old fashioned stereotype, like the dude from our Vast campaign, pretty much.
Okay.
Maybe not quite as loyal because no one is as awesome as that guy, but.
Alka. I miss Alka.
Oh yeah. Nonetheless, this guy seems worried that you are here, as if you coming here has caused trouble for you. Okay, good. So the moment he walks us into this room, I'll shut the door behind him and give him a hug. You do so, and he stiffens against you. He is ice cold to your touch. And as you're hugging him, you feel like a vibrating sense along your body, like electricity, like static cling that doesn't stop staticking. And
what have they done to you?
Ow! Oh, go ahead, sorry.
As you pull away, like an actual spark flies off of him to your arm. And he says, I know not of what you speak, Master, my good performer. I would ask you not be alarmed at the state of the place. He ignores your question completely and just starts blathering on, basically, intentionally avoiding it. And he says, "Now, if you will wait here, I will get the master for you. The new master."
Not quite yet. I believe you know as well as I do what happens if we get to that point.
I am afraid I know not of what you were referring, sir.
Now, I'd like to reminisce for just a moment. This is going to be maybe a consort roll. Would you happen to remember exactly what plot of land specifically that my father was so fond of?
Go ahead and roll risky standard.
I haven't had a risky standard in a while.
The last one was a risky standard.
Oh, was it? Been years since then.
Oh no! Okay,
Devil's bargain, you got a devil's bargain? No, you already rolled it.
either that or can I?
Nope, it is. You rolled, so now we play it out. So that's a 1. So that's an abject failure.
Okay.
So I'm going to say the consequence is opportunity lost. So he says, "I'm afraid I do not know your father personally. I serve only one Lord. If you'll excuse me." And he turns, and before you can stop him, just briskly walks down the hallway.
Should we leave this room? Do we go exploring in your mansion?
Do you know any secret hallways, secret bookshelf doorknobs? It seems fancy. I don't know. I grew up in a very small cottage.
I do, in fact, remember everything about this place. I feel like that can just... Can I just operate with that knowledge?
As far as the layout, yeah.
Okay. I know every crook and cranny of this house. It's just a matter of figuring out exactly where we need to be. And if I had to take my best guess, the only place I wasn't allowed as a child was the cellar. Now, I don't know how much of an issue it is if Skurlock sees you, but if he sees me, I've got a feeling it won't be good. So, 2 options. We either all 3 leave, or 1 or 2 of us leave. Someone provides a distraction.
Well,
Sounds like nobody wants to provide a distraction. Shall we go?
I'm to reprise my role as Fanny Barnum, Circus and Family. You 2 get out of here. Hurry.
Hey.
All right, Thingama.
I'll meet
Here
you
we
in
go.
the cellar tonight.
All right. So I guess I'll lead it.
Well, okay. No, I give her now a gadget from my item load, which is 5 normal. That is one of the from our first adventure, the little wind up like smoke bomb.
Nice.
Okay.
I can't afford 2 stress to give it to like in the future flashback. So
Okay. I like that idea.
All right, so you guys are splitting off to explore separately.
Thingama and I, and Barnum by herself. So I guess I'll just lead a group prowl, open the door, look around, and immediately take off to my right down a hallway.
All right, group prowl. All right, and this is for the goal of finding the location you're looking for.
Yes,
Going to the cellar.
My idea is that I know a secret passageway down this hallway that I can take to get to the cellar.
You will still have to make the group prowl. And it will still be risky standard.
Okay.
So both of you will roll it. We'll take the highest roll. Every failure just counts towards Vega's stress.
Wait, we have something in our crew sheet about this. Synchronize. When you perform a group action, you may count multiple sixes from different rolls as a critical success.
Nice.
Okay.
Like we've ever gotten 6s.
Hey, listen.
I've seen it, I think. I'll have to go back through the old video.
The hypothetical situations. Okay.
2 5s.
Wow. All right, so
Thingama got 2 2s.
yeah, so we'll just take the higher 2. So Vega, you take a stress, but nonetheless we take the 5. You find the old secret passageway that you used as a kid. It's just you push a stone on a wall, and you're able to. Your dad didn't know that you knew about this.
My little prowly self as a young boy sneaking around.
And you push the usual spot, and as you're walking, you plummet immediately. You step through, and then just whoop, just fall.
As I do, I'd like to think that I know this is going to happen.
You don't, actually. That's the
Oh,
thing.
really?
This is new. There's supposed to be a stone step there. There isn't. You take a step, and you just fall, and you just onto the ground. Not enough to take a harm, but you see immediately as you're looking up, you see just the silhouette of Thingama's head, and you notice that the stone is closing above you, entrapping you here.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Barnum, you're in the foyer, and the man comes back, the butler comes back, and he pauses and looks around and says, "Weren't there more of you?"
I do not recall that. Maybe you were just engaged with the performance.
He leans forward and says, "You have made a grave mistake coming here. I hope he knows what he is planning to do. The master will see you now. Come, madam." And he starts leading you up a grand stairway. He leads you up several stairways, in fact. This is a vertically very large place, down many corridors, and of course you come to the grandest, most decorated set of double oak doors, of course coated in a layer of dust. And he pushes them open, putting his hands on the same dusty handprints you see on the doors. And inside you see a grand study. It has all kinds of nautical equipment. It has dangling runes and charts and maps on the walls. It has papers and shelves and books, everything with this layer of dust. All of it untouched for years, clearly. But across from you, 20, 30 feet across the dusty wooden floor with the dusty red rug, at a dusty old desk, sits a slightly less dusty red chair, velvet, that sits a prim and proper looking noble. A man that has a very, very neatly trimmed goatee and his hair perfectly styled to the side, perfectly kempt, and very pale white skin, not necessarily undead looking pale, just very Caucasian. And no facial hair whatsoever, sharp, piercing eyes with a set of firm eyebrows and 2 gloved white hands. He wears a sort of extremely ornate cloak with the golden trappings and all that shebang. And he sits with his fingers crossed behind the desk and says, "A clown. I did not order a clown, but I am very happy to find one here. Please, do come in."
I, Gene Wilder from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, take a couple steps and then do somersault, 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 and
That is good. That's really good. Stand right there in the middle of the rug, right there. It's not a booby trap. It's just I want you to stand there. Do it.
I do a little flip onto it.
Thank you. Oh, I love that. So it is wonderful to meet you. I know I'm probably not what you were expecting. Most people aren't. You were probably expecting more along the lines of, and then in front of you he shifts and poofs into shadow and disappears into a black smoke, and behind you you hear a voice go, "Stay away from this place." And you turn around and see just two red, demonic, piercing eyes. But as you turn around, you just barely catch it as it dissipates. Then you turn back around and he's sitting at the desk exactly as he was. And he says, I know most people are expecting such a thing, but I have to tell you, it gets old after the first century or two of doing it. Old as in boring, not ineffective. Although clearly I was mistaken about that. You're here. And of course, I already know that Mr. Everett has returned against my warnings. And he places his hand on a glass ball that's on the desk. And in it, reflected from where you're standing, you can see Vega reaching up and touching the stone walls, and you can see a stone closing above him. And he says, yes, not much escapes my eye. Now, tell me, and he wipes some of the dirt off the desk, why do you think you're here? I mean that in earnest. That's the only thing I can't quite deduce on your part. Everett, I know why he's here. Vengeance, to get his land back, something of the sort. But you have no stake in this plot of land, so I am exceptionally curious. And I have to tell you, there is not much that makes me curious anymore. So consider yourself, you should be flattered. You're very, very unique a character. I've never seen a demented clown before.
I drop the performance arms. This is always the problem I find with nobles, and I walk towards the crystal ball. Put a little dust off of it. And men in general.
But mind you,
about you.
Sorry to interrupt your great line. The crystal ball is the only thing not dusty in this room.
But I'm still gonna pretend to do it.
Of
just
course.
to be an ass.
Of course.
So I go over, and this is that you always think everything's about you.
I'm not men. Once upon a time, I could be called such a thing, but I am not men. But I'm not going to say you're wrong either. And he smiles for the first time, a full toothy grin, and you see that his canine teeth are sharp points. Everything is about me, because I get to decide that. That's the great thing. I get to choose that it's all about me. You try to wrestle what control you can from the rules that are there, but the rules were made for me, and I made them even more for me. You understand? It's not about thinking, it's all about me. It's, how do I put this? The world hinges on me. The world quite does, in fact, revolve around me.
I turn
and
around
my goals.
and start walking away. It's what every man says. You just sound like every other one. I have no time for this, but... And then I spin around. What do you know about rules? What do you mean you make the rules? I'm curious about it now. You've interested my curiosity, and as you can see, that is hard to do. What are you, a vampire? Is that supposed to impress me? Fangs, don't do it for me anymore, honey, really. I've seen it, been there, done that. Try again.
Okay, you know how I feel then. You get that. To not be impressed or fazed by much anymore. To have to work twice as hard for it. But for these past 500 years, I have had one goal that has never lost my curiosity. And I feel like you would probably share this curiosity. So, let me offer you something. I'm going to offer the same one to Everett. He's going to decline, but I'm going to offer you the same thing. Become my thrall, serve me, and you can come out the other side of the end of the world. Well, the second end of the world. Because I am going to be the only one left when that comes. Myself and those who are, of course, directly beneath me. What do you say?
Ew.
Ew.
I will end with the world the way I began, with my people, with the people that are with me, and with those I care about. You do not fall under that, friend. I'm so sorry. While I'm doing this, by the way, out of character, I am kind of looking around to see if there are any outs a little bit. Just this whole thing is kind of just me like a little bit to see how I can like kill him, get out, find any weaknesses, whatever. While I'm just doing my little laps. Talk.
Just directly behind him, some beautiful, tall, wall-scaled windows. They don't open, they're just purely decorative. Not decorative, they're windows functioning, but that's about what you have for outs.
Behind him. He's got massive fake windows just plastered up.
Stickers. And of course, the double doors that you came in.
I want to keep walking. And besides, what would you want with me? You're not exactly my type. And I don't serve anyone.
Oh, I promise you, such interests are below me. But you didn't come into this world happily. You came kicking and screaming and covered in blood and probably excrement. The way that it's going to end, you may get your wish. You may go out very much the same. What I want you for is the same reason I want anybody. I just need more. I need more. I'm getting more. That's the easy part. But not many that are fun to have. You're a clown. I have clowns, but you're like a weird clown. And that's cool.
I'm a murderous clown. Also, out of character, Edwin, will you check your messages really quickly? I have a question.
Okay. Not quite. That's a saved thing. But he says, look, I'm phrasing it like a question to be polite. Because in 500 years, the one thing I've learned about manners is that they are not a waste. Loneliness is eternal, but good manners puts a little cushion around it that feels like there's still something. Now, I'll admit it's more habit than anything, but either willfully join me, or I will forcibly make you my foe. That is about the offer I've got. I have a lot of patience, so take your time deciding, but let me see. And he takes out a pocket watch. Okay, maybe I don't have that long. I'm sorry for lying. I'm a little impatient. Choose now.
I'm like around the side of the room, like messing with the curtains, maybe doing some acrobatic stuff around it. And I just stop. What do you know about Ulkira?
Is that a type of dish?
It's a name.
I don't eat food anymore. No, nobody named Ulkira. That is in my repertoire.
Can you get me to a realm between here and the other realms? You seem to have some answers. You should know this. Come on, hurry up. I have no patience either.
Well, that's what he's here for.
That is what I am here for. They are here.
Yes, of course. But goodness. 2 surprises in one day. This is so pleasant. Yes, there is a way to travel between worlds, and it's a lot to explain. There's a lot of books. They're all old. If you just take my hand, you'll have all your answers very soon.
I'm gonna take out my scarf of many scarves and wrap his hand in it. Touch it.
Okay, that's cute. He grabs your arm and yanks you forward, grabs you by the head, and bares your neck to him. And you are going to take a level 3 harm unless you resist it.
I'm gonna resist it. Are you trying to make me a vampire again?
No.
You know what's so
Real
funny? I
fast,
didn't
so
plan
fast.
for this.
Real tired of being a vampire in all your games, Edwin.
I planned for Vega to be here, so no, I had no plan. Who am I kidding? So go ahead and roll your resistance. That'll be a, what is that? Prowess,
Can I
want to
just,
say?
okay, I'll roll resistance, but instead, could I do my armor?
You can also use your armor. Oh,
Because
wait,
I
yeah,
can
your armor.
I can expand special armor to reduce harm from an attack in combat.
Yes, so if you use heavy armor, that would, I believe, potentially negate this one entirely. You get to use it once, but yeah, you could, I believe, do that. Let me make sure. I believe that's the purpose of it. Bless you.
That's my
Thank
battle.
you. Sorry.
Okay, so yeah, heavy armor will reduce 2 levels of harm, so it'll be a level 1 harm. So he wasn't prepared for, first of all, the padding in your shirt or your inhumane reflexes as you pull out of the way just in time as one of his fangs just nicks the nape of your neck and just scratches a good bit. So take level 1 harm. I don't know, what do you want to name that? Neck gouge. That sounds so
Called it
cool.
vampire neck.
Vampire neck. And you look at him, and all of a sudden, like, this is like some blade vampire. Like, he doesn't look attractive and nice anymore. He has like demonic eyes, and his teeth are bared. His skin is all wrinkled, and his skin is pure white as his fangs are bared. Meanwhile, in Vega's expanding situation, you're at the bottom of a pit, basically, as a stone's closing overhead. What are you guys doing?
I've already hit the bottom of the pit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it wasn't a deep pit. It was like, I mean, it was pretty deep, but yes, you're at the bottom of the pit. There wasn't spikes or anything. It seems like this pit is just here, and this brick is magically moving above you to close off your possible escape.
I throw climbing gear down, like I'm in a rope.
We had the same idea.
All right. So what are you doing? Are you rolling a? What would this be? Probably prowl if you're just trying to climb out with the climbing gear. Yeah.
That sounds great with me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm good with that.
All right. So you throw a little grappling hook up. Do you got the suction cups? Like.
I can I throw. Do you want to spend the climbing gear, or do you want me to, Vega?
Well, we had the same idea. I was just gonna let you do it since you said it first. You want to
Yeah.
throw the climbing, like as I fall down the pit, you throw the climbing gear down before it closes.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, so you grab onto it, and sure enough, I'll say that'll give you a +1 to a related roll to climb out.
Okay. Position is risky standard, I guess. Still.
Yes. Actually, hold on. Risky. Sorry. Desperate standard.
Desperate standard. Okay.
Then in that case, can I do a devil's bargain of if he doesn't do it, then I fall down?
That sounds great. All right, go ahead and take your +1. So that'll be +2 die.
Desperate stand.
And
bonus die.
if you wanted to take a stress thingama, you could aid him with like yanking him up and stuff. But that's just if you wanted to take that.
Nah, Devil's Bargain sounds fun.
All right.
If we can't get it in 5 dice, I'd quit the game immediately. Okay, 2 6s.
Critical success. 2 6s. Wow. All right. So immediately you grab onto it. The stone's closing. Thingama starts yanking, and Vega's just sprinting up the side of the walls, and you just barely whoop. Your knees aren't past the stone. It's about to close. You just tuck him up, and boom, it closes underneath you. You're on top of this stone slab, and immediately you feel it shaking underneath you. And scrambling, you climb out as that stone plummets and smashes down where you just were. And just for a moment, all is silent again. The hidden tunnel still continues in the distance.
I think we did it.
Survived that. There's no telling how many more of these there are in this house now.
So, do you continue on this route through this tunnel?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, let's do
All
that.
right. You continue doing so, and
Vega, you get a desperate XP if you didn't mark that down already.
Okay.
oh yeah, as you're traversing, you start to hear the sounds of rock breaking, of tink, tink, tink. The sounds of pickaxes going away, the sounds of shovels, the sounds of buckets being loaded. No conversation though. And you come into the cellar first of all, and again you almost fall over again. The floor of the cellar isn't there anymore. Instead, there's just rubble and debris and boulders strewn all about, and you see that there's just a craterous hole where your cellar once was. And in the middle of the hole, you see men with brushes, shovels, and axes. They're chipping away at what looks like a giant 20 by 20 platform, like circular, and all along it are runes that are etched. And that's where we're going to call our session for today, because we're at 2 hours, so we kind of have to call it there lest it stretches on too long. And plus, what a good spot to end with Barnum currently in distress, being attacked by a vampire, and
The single most powerful character in the entire game.
Essentially. No, the Emperor would kick his ass.
Shit.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Acquire allies.
You've got a friend in the Emperor. All right, so that will conclude the. Let's do XP. By the way, let's do that.
Did we finish the thing, or is it just the end of the session where we?
It's the end of the session. You guys are still in the midst of
Oh.
your stuff, but we get end of session XP still. So let's do your crew sheet first. So for your crew sheet, the questions are: did you execute a successful burglary, espionage, robbery, or sabotage operation?
I haven't finished it yet. I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
We
that's
got
fair.
into the place using disguises, which is that espionage?
If you think this is a successful operation, but I think you're still in the middle of it, the operation
You were
itself.
successful at getting in, and that's what I'm taking.
I wouldn't give it to us.
Think about Victor.
You get more than enough XP. Did you contend with challenges above your current station? See, that's a definite yes.
Yes.
Did you bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one?
No.
No, you guys were decidedly away from where you have a reputation. But did you express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew?
Of course.
Oh, that's why Paige wanted that one so bad. You guys have 1 XP away from crew advancement.
We're so close.
All right, Thingama, let's do you next for your XP. Did you address a challenge with technical skill or mayhem?
No, not really.
Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Studying at the library.
That's true. That is the thing you did. And did you struggle with issues from your vice or trauma?
I role-played Reckless, but it didn't have any game effect, so no.
All right. Thank you very much, my friend. Paige. Barnum. Did you address a challenge with violence or coercion?
Did I?
Coercion, I'd say.
Yeah, coercion. I tried to. It didn't really work, but I did address it that way.
Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Yes.
How so?
Well, I made them all clowns.
I'll give it to you. You did. It was the most out of place. Yeah, you did. And that's enough for you to get a level up. Kudos. And did you struggle with issues from your vice or trauma during the session?
No.
All right. And with that, we leave off this wonderful, fun session. Thank you, anyone who joined us.
We need to do Vegas.
Oh, forget Vega. No, I genuinely just forgot. Like, I exited one character sheet. I'm like, we're dead. Jake, did you address a challenge with stealth or evasion?
Yes.
Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Also, yes.
All right. And did you struggle with issues from your vice or trauma?
No, I actually struggled to get drunk today.
All right. That sounds correct. All right. Is that everyone? Did I forget someone? Are we good? All right. I did a good job. All right. That was a very fun, albeit a bit wobbly, welcome back to the game. I apologize for that. It's been weeks since I've played anything, let alone Blades, but it's good to be back. I've missed playing with you guys.
Yeah, same.
And I feel like we got like a lot of roleplay in this session still, nonetheless.
I feel like we've done a lot. It felt wobbly, but I feel like we've done a lot.
Yeah, right. That's the weird. Blades is such a action-packed, like get to the action game, so that whenever we sit around and like actually discuss the plot and roleplay and stuff, it's like it feels like more is happening. Well, thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys for playing. You guys are the best. Join us again next week. I don't know if we'll be playing Blades. We have to discuss scheduling and stuff still. That's a constant state of flux. I don't even know what our plan is or was anymore. But next week, When Can We Play will be airing something. So until next time, I very much hope that you get a game in this week. Take care, everybody.